over here to Rumble. We got the rest of the show for you guys. That was great talk with Whitney Webb. Gotta say, our show seems kind of dumb now.
Yeah.
Seems kind of like...
Yeah, we're just going to review Nosferatu and call it a day.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Lily Rose Depp was amazing.
Yeah, right, exactly. We will do our very best. Thank you guys all for coming over here. All right, everybody. We will start these segments as we're supposed to. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show, everyone. Keaton Weiss and Russell Dobular filling in for Jimmy this week. All right, folks. Should we begin this segment with a moment of silent prayer? I think we probably should. Since this is a January 6th related segment, and we are broadcasting live on the 4-year anniversary of this horrible day. Now, most people of sane mind have moved on from January 6th, 2021. But Ford Fisher, a filmmaker, put out a video thread. He found some people who have not yet moved on. So in his video thread, protesters gathered in Washington, D.C. today. So this was January 3rd. This was the Friday prior, to demand Congress reject the January 6th certification of Donald Trump as the winner of the presidential race. That's correct. So this was a 7-part video thread. I edited together what I thought were the highlights of these 7 video posts. So we're not going to watch all of them in their entirety, but I did cut together what I think is a pretty damn funny highlight reel. So here is the January 6th protest gathering to decertify Donald Trump's election win.
Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up!
We've all gathered here today for the same reason, to demand that Congress uphold the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, specifically Section 3, that states that an insurrectionist cannot be president. And if you have any doubt that this guy is an insurrectionist, you should come out of the cave that you live in and get a supercomputer in your pocket like we all have, because all the information's out there and it's undeniable. Please hear me out, Democrats. Please stop blaming each other and saying we went too far left, or we should have done this, or we got to be Joe Rogan, and no, you don't. We lost, and I'm using air quotes because I don't believe it. That's up to you if you do. We lost the election because a foreign adversary spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on bot farms to bombard half the country with Russian disinformation, and they beat it into their heads to the point that Americans started to parrot it, from Joe Rogan to Tim Pool. So I'm asking Democrats, stop blaming your fellow Americans and start blaming Russia.
When Trump won, I have a MAG. My wife is MAG. I divorced my wife. I quit my job. I'm going to be living out of a trailer and stay within about 4 hours of D.C. And as John Lewis would say, I'm going to get into good trouble. So the rest of my years,
I'm sorry. I know you should be playing this.
Yeah, you're full of shit, man. Christopher Guest made this. This is not real.
I divorced my wife, and now I'm living in a trailer outside of D.C.
Like, this is totally stylistically, this is total Spinal Tap.
Yeah, this will be Spinal Tap. I divorced my wife as MAGA. I divorced her. Now I'm living in a trailer. And as John Lewis said, I'm going to get into good trouble. Wow. Oh, boy.
Wow.
Oh, boy. All right.
He's living in a van down by the river.
Yeah.
My wife is MAG. I divorced my wife. I quit my job. I'm going to be living out of a trailer and stay within about 4 hours of D.C. And as John Lewis would say, I'm going to get into good trouble. So the rest of my years, I'm going to be near D.C. getting into good trouble. These boys at 18 could give their lives to save the world from fascism. At my age, 66, if need be, I'll give my life to do what I can to save this country.
I'm hoping that Congress will look at this and take a deep look and know that this is not what the people want, and that this is not going to do us any good having people like this in office. This is not what America stands for, and that we need to save our democracy.
What would you say to the people who voted for Trump, and then kind of say like, but we won the election?
What to say to them? There's not much that you can say to them.
We will never cease calling January 6th an insurrection.
Right.
We will never cease calling Donald Trump an insurrectionist.
Yeah.
We will never cease in claiming that Donald Trump, an insurrectionist, is not qualified to be president of the United States under Section 3.
Qualified.
Because we can never cease to call what happened on January 6th wrong and join those who want to say, let's forgive and forget and call it right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've already I met with Adam Schiff in person yesterday, and I want to let you know that we've been in touch with Padilla's office. We're
Okay, let's pause one more time. Okay, so if we're taking that at face value, if we believe him, and we don't have any reason to not believe him. He says, I met with Adam Schiff today or yesterday? What did he say? Did he say today or yesterday?
I mean, if Joe Biden met with the only thing AOC can do is make me a martini bitch guy,
yeah, right.
then I believe this guy met with Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff taking meetings with these people. I met with Adam Schiff yesterday. Wow.
I've already I met with Adam Schiff in person yesterday, and I want to let you know that we've been in touch with Padilla's
nobody's
office.
buying the dye
We're
job,
calling them, we're emailing them. We have copies of the petition, which was filed with the Secretary of the Senate, and we have a Q&A about that petition here. We have our urgent message that we just put out this morning to try and disqualify from seating in the 119th Congress at least those most egregious. If we can't dismiss all 130, because anyone who voted for the false electors and voted to not honor the Electoral College that was duly elected, duly appointed back in January 2021, aided the insurrection. And they also should not be seated, all 130 of them.
So they basically, so this guy wants to decertify the election victories of anyone who backed Donald Trump over his 2020 claims of fraud. Not just disqualify Trump, but disqualify everyone who backed it. They love that idea.
Should be disqualified.
To the Democratic Party establishment at home watching, thinking that your money, your elitism will protect you. Your podcast with Kellyanne Conway will protect you. Those of you watching at home, somebody better send this to you. I'll send it to you. But I want to just tell you, dictatorship comes for everyone eventually. It's you. It's a matter of time. And one consistent thing about dictatorships, they always, every single one of them, without an exception, come with mass graves. Every single dictatorship comes with mass graves. So you, who are fooling yourself into a false sense of normalcy, you have blood on your hands. Break the silence, stand up to the U.S. Constitution. You kick the can down the road. You keep putting it on the American people to stop him. We're now trying to stop him. So where are you? Where are you? Thank you all for being here.
So this is the audience Don Lemon is going for, and that's about the size of it.
That's about the size of it. That's right. So, you thought that the
people
libs
for
were...
whom MSNBC is not sufficiently Trump deranged.
Yeah. I mean, you thought the libs were taking this lion down. For the most part, they are. But, wow, you found a crop out there for whom January 6th still fresh in their minds. That was quite the action. Quite the action that they put together. But look, the size of this crowd, like you said, that one guy, man, I left my wife and now I'm living in a trailer.
I'm going to be close for the next 4 years.
Jesus Christ, I'm going to be close.
He's going to be keeping an eye on them.
Yeah, going to be keeping an eye on the fascists from my trailer outside of DC.
Sweating. He's sweating. I hear there's some guy living in a trailer.
He's watching me.
He comes by the fence every day. It's freaking me out.
can't sleep. I can't focus. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, look, the size of this gathering does reflect the change in the culture from 2020, but even, I mean, obviously, just when you contrast this transition, and now we're in the month of January, at this time in 2016, you had the Women's March was already planned, right? But then you had that series of subsequent marches. You had the what did you have? You had the President's Day March with the Not My President rally in New York, and they had, I think, one big one in DC. Then you had all these sort of spin-off marches, the Science March, the Climate March. They had marches and demonstrations scheduled all throughout the first few months of 2017 in protest of Trump taking office. You really see none of that.
Did you
this
still
time.
live in New York then?
They have pretty much been broke. Yes, I was still in New York at the time.
Did you see those protests outside Trump Tower?
What's that?
The protests outside Trump Tower?
Well, on a
when
daily
Trump got
basis,
elected?
Yeah, well, they had protests outside the tower, but I'm talking
all
about
the time, all the
they
time,
had down the streets. Yeah, exactly,
all the time. And this time, when he won, I was gonna go cover protests. There weren't protests to cover.
Yeah, that's about it. So quite the display there. So credit to Ford Fisher for going out and finding that. But yeah, you could just see, I mean, that is about the level of engagement that you're seeing from the libs right now. And that just shows you what a different cultural moment it really is between now and then. I mean, it's night and day, to a certain extent. Like, we were predicting this major meltdown had Trump won, and we really didn't get a meltdown. We really just got a fizzling out. We really just got a sigh of resignation. And that continues into January, and I suspect it will continue through Inauguration Day. There are some organizations that are planning protests on January 20th around cities and things like that. Some of them from like organizations we like the People's Forum, like protesting the genocide when he inherits the genocide. I'm obviously all for that. But like this kind of stuff, he stole the election and he's a disgrace
this is
to
your
democracy.
brain on Joy Reid.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, you're just not seeing much except for this display, whatever this was. But that was quite a piece of footage.
I sent you over, we've seen a few of these now. We always assume that you have to be very smart to get a law degree. And, in many cases that seems to be true. But if Sunny Hostin could get a law degree, you don't have to be that smart. She's on The View today saying, January 6th is among the most horrible things that have ever happened in this country, like the Holocaust.
Right.
It was, Germany, wasn't it?
Right, wrong country.
Wrong country. Point taken, but it's still a very bad comparison.
Right, a bad point.
Even if it had happened here.
Right,
but,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. And it's okay, I guess this could give you some faith in humanity that most people realized at this point that this didn't work, and they have enough self-respect to shut up about this now. But these are the ones who are left.
That's right.
The guy living in the van down by the river.
Exactly. Always be a few. Remember that. You can always get an audience, folks. It's never totally hopeless for you, no matter what your cause. Sparky, thanks for the $10. Anytime someone says Israel is our only friend in the Middle East, I can't help but think before Israel, we had no enemies in the Middle East. U.S. missionary John Sheehan. Thanks, Sparky. Dorian Marquise, thank you for the donation. Let's be more effective. Rally MAGA to keep referring to Elon as President Musk. Donald hates that, hence Trump firing Steve Bannon in 2017. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad plan. The only problem with that is that Steve Bannon's not worth $400 billion, so it's a little easier to let him go. But I think the thought is a good thought. Sparky, make Ukraine Russia again. Don't leave a rump state called Ukraine, lest it remain a NATO playground, a carpetbaggers, money laundry, and a BlackRock property. Russell, if you want to follow along, if you could find where it is, if you want to read some, you can. I'm just doing them because I know where I am. SS, thanks for the donation. We should be figuring out what actually causes wars, i.e. childhood trauma, and how to prevent and fix that. Obsession with tech is part of the same problem. Sparky, break it off in BlackRock, make Ukraine Russia again. Sparky says, ask Whitney when Putin will send hundreds of thousands of North Korean GMO super soldiers to invade the U.S. through our porous borders. Good one, Sparky.
Okay.
Genome Exploits, thanks for the donation. Are you there? The technological progress is mental, emotional, spiritual, and ecological degradation, says SS. SS continues, we've been elevating the wrong thing for ages. Up is down, black is white. Oh, we got a Rockfin tip. Look at that. How's that?
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Whitney Webb bringing out the truth. Lasso. Thanks for the depth. Whoop ass. Thank you. Thank you for our Rockfin viewer over there. Do you see where we're at now?
Yeah.
All
Sparky.
right, you want to take a couple of these?
All right, Sparky. Nerds are socially inept by definition. They certainly shouldn't be planning or controlling society. Well, that rules us out. Brad Gilbert. Trump is a psyop. Jen stole MAGA from Ron Paul for the deep state. MAGA is now Bannon and Massey if he wants it. Yeah, that's a pretty good analysis. Sparky, as far as foreign policy goes, Trump's administration is a bunch of doomsday death cultists. They really are. They really are. You got Huckabee there looking for a red heifer in the desert.
Right, yeah.
Brent Yo Endo. Okay, Jimmy. Whitney has spoken. No more pretending Trump is fighting deep state. He is owned. Yeah, I mean, JD's been saying that.
You know what I wanted to ask her is, when I found out that she had, because I didn't know she was a mom. I didn't know she had a baby. And I was going to ask, I'm like, so how do you balance parenting with learning all of this stuff? Like kids are basically.
I always wondered that about you.
Well, that's why I was going to ask her, because I was going to say, like, basically my kids are my excuse to not do anything except 3 shows a week. Like, I researched the stories we got to do, but like, yeah, it's hard for me to do anything else but keep the show schedule up. So yeah, I mean, to have that kind of knowledge and to be a parent, that is a whole lot of brain power.
That book. Do you have her book? I have her book. That is insane that you wrote that in a year with a kid.
Yeah, it's like it seems impossible to me. Like I was going to ask her that. Yeah, I was gonna like, as a serious question, like as a piece of advice for me, I feel like I could use the advice, like to pick her brain. So how do you balance raising a child with accruing and sorting all this knowledge out? I've got a name for your book.
I've got a title for you.
For me?
Yeah.
What's
Black Pill Dad.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. My memoir. Yeah. All right, should we move on?
Sure.
All right, we'll do the rest of these in due time. All right, folks. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. Keaton Weiss and Russell Dobular filling in for Jimmy this week. Big news today.